Well, hey everyone, welcome back to This Week at Island Church, our weekly church podcast. Pastor Will, how you doing today?
Just wonderful. Thank you, Matt. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too. Okay, so give us a recap. What happened last week? We're recording this Tuesday morning, so we've had a day, Monday to recover a little bit. How was Sunday? How was the weekend?
Sunday was another good Sunday. We had quite a crowd. I don't know. We're probably 75% full, 75% full. And for it being August, that's really good for us. We had guests return again. I think I told you last week we had 17 guests plus part of my family there the last week. But it's good to see when people come back again and again, and then they start engaging, and that's a neat thing to see. And so just quite a bit of excitement around our Sunday service this past week.
Very cool, very cool. Well, what's going on around the church this coming week? I know there's lots of events happening. I think I heard something about Momentum coming back. What's going on the next week, or maybe a little bit farther out at the church?
Yes, Matt, we started last week. The ladies gathered again for their women's Bible study. Sandy leads that. And last week, I think they had 25 women. I can hear them coming in the door now.
Yeah.
So they're getting ready. They start at 9:30 on Tuesday mornings with a coffee and chat. They just get a chance to care for one another and catch up and celebrate and divide out sorrows. Do that. And then at 10 o'clock, they start. And they're actually looking at an interesting subject. They're looking at a study of idols. And you think about like golden idols and you think about physical idols, but there's other things we have as idols. And I think that's off to a great start. I've heard the women, as they came out last week, talk about it, and they share with me and share with each other. And so that's an exciting thing. And then, so that's gone good. We had, I think the women gathered on Monday, Sandy and some of the ladies, the women's prayer time this past Monday. So that was good. And then this coming week, we actually on Sunday night, we've got what we call Momentum. And for many of the people listening, they'll know exactly what that is. But if you don't, we actually typically have a little bit of food, do something at 5:15. This week, it's going to be tacos. And it's not as exciting as ice cream that we had last month, but tacos are good. Just a time just to us connect and sit around and chat with one another. That's the primary purpose there. And so we do that at 5:15. At 6 o'clock, we deal with several things. We celebrate some of the things God has done in our lives and in our church this past month. We talk about what's upcoming in our church, and so that our church gets on the same page. We deal with where we headed, what's going on, and between those things, it's actually a very informal time. And so, if you haven't come to that, we'd love to have you. It's just a casual kind of time. We use some PowerPoints, show some pictures. Most of them are serious pictures, but even some funny things in there. Just slip in, and so we have a good time between the short meal together and Momentum at 6 o'clock. So that's upcoming.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to pause here and remind everyone, if you have not subscribed to the YouTube channel, make sure you do that today. It is the best way to stay up to date with these podcasts each week and also our Sunday sermons that get posted to YouTube now. So make sure you subscribe to this channel. Like the video if you want to. It doesn't really do much besides just making us feel better. But subscribe for sure so you stay up to date. Okay, Pastor Will, how can folks be praying for the church this week? We talked about that last week. Would love to kind of talk a little bit more about, hey, how can people be praying for the church?
Well, it's so important for us to pray together, Matt, and the life of the church. We have people with challenges all the time, and we have opportunities that we pray for as well. And then we have, as we talked about in the School of Christian Living, which we do every Sunday at 8:15. 8:45. We've been talking about spiritual warfare. We're going to transition and start talking about how do we share our faith with our family and friends. But they can pray for that School of Christian Living time, that we would actually learn to share our faith and with our friends. And often we get very difficult questions, and people often just don't share because they don't know what to say. And I think we have a different understanding of what it means to be successful in sharing our faith. That can be helpful. So looking forward to that. I can pray for the School of Christian Living, and then pray for these guests that have been coming, that they get connected. When you're new into a new place and you're new to new people, it just takes a while for people to get settled in. And really what we want to make sure is that we can connect them to Christ. But part of that is connecting them to our church family, connect them to small groups. People can pray for our small groups. We anticipate that we're going to be starting 2 new small groups over the next several weeks, and one on Wednesday night, one on Monday night. And so we look forward to that. We'll resume the men's. They can pray regarding the men's ministry that we're going to be starting back up on Tuesday around noon. And so we've got that as people come back from being off for the summer or vacations, or being in a cooler spot than ours in terms of the weather.
Yeah.
And so that's another. And then one other thing I think, Matt, that people can pray for is just
Yeah.
pray for our worship team and worship leadership, Sandy and Marcia and the team, the tech team, continue to do an outstanding job with that. But we're still looking for a worship leader. And we're in a unique situation where you're trying to get someone part-time on a very limited basis, and they have to be in a drive-in distance. And that's just kind of a limiting kind of factor as you do a search. And so just they can pray for that. We're continue to have uplifting worship services and music and the messages, and but they can pray for that as well. And so this week I'm actually going to be preaching on humility. And it's not one of our favorite topics, but I think it will be actually a key to our success as people of God, as the people of God. And so it'll be actually a encouraging, uplifting time with that message this coming week.
That's great. That's great. We'll look forward to that for sure. Any last words, anything you want to leave us with as we sign off today?
No, it's just we want to pray for as well for our mission field, Matt. We do all the things that we do. We do the various types of intro things and the deeper spiritual development kinds of things. We want people on a pathway toward their relationship with Christ. But we have a mission field God's given us right here. And so we want to uplift our church, pray for our community. And we're thankful to be here. We're thankful for the people in the past that placed us here and for God's work here. But we want to keep focused on people that desperately need Jesus. People will either die in a relationship with Christ and meet him, or they'll die separated from him. And that's sobering, but we get a chance to be out and be the church right here in Terra Verde and the surrounding areas. That's a good thing.
That's an incredible thing for sure. Well, Pastor Will, thank you so much for sharing your heart, sharing what's going on with the church with us this week. Thank you all who are watching this for tuning in. We will see you here next week.